Just want to say a quick welcome to the show. Glad to see you guys here. Drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching and how you're watching. We are trying to work on some of our statistical analysis, which is the fancy word for we're just trying to figure out if we're more popular on Facebook or YouTube. So if you could, go ahead and drop us a comment. Let us know where you're at, what you're doing tonight. It's snowing here in Ohio, which it's April. So
Is it really snowing?
Mother Nature is playing a bad April Fool's joke on us right now. It's not that much fun. Especially when I'm out in the garage losing ferrules to my throttle cable while I'm trying to adjust my throttle body. But I still never found that thing, man.
Really?
But no. I ordered a new one. Luckily, Rocky Mountain had them in stock. So if you are watching on Facebook and YouTube, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This does help us out a whole bunch. We are a passionate crew. We do this all out of it's just a passion for the sport. We're all friends from, I mean, we're all on the East Coast, but we're nowhere near each other. Like, we've never even met in real life. This is all through social media and just really liking the sport, you know? So it's please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It does help us out a lot. While you're doing it, well, not while you're doing it, preferably after you like, comment, share, and subscribe, jump on over to powertotheground.com. Jesse has been working really hard trying to get this all set up. He's basically rebuilt the whole website, and I think personally it looks awesome. I could sit there and watch that video that plays on the home screen all day. It seems like yeah, it's a good, he's done a great job with it. Also, while you're over there, do not forget to stop by and grab a Do It for Dale t-shirt. Be awesome. Get you one. I have one. Tiller has one. I got my brother one. It's an awesome shirt. And then I saw today that Scott Plessinger had one. I don't think it's the Power to the Ground one. I think he made one. His whole Instagram is full of just pumping up Aaron. It's awesome to see how much he loves Aaron. But it's yeah, I mean, it is kind of his kid, you know. But it's stop on over, get you a Power to the Ground, Do It for Dale t-shirt. They're comfy too. Have you gotten to try yours on yet?
Yeah, because I wore it I think I got it the day before the last Couch Cross, and I got to wear it. I'm gonna take it with me on my moto trip this weekend and rock it.
Nice. I don't really remember the last Couch Cross. I was completely just destroyed.
You were wiped.
Yeah, it was a long day. So I think we did 12 hours at the track and a cross country race. I was pretty much over the day by the time I got home. Also, big shout out to Sean over at Bro Taco Hot Sauce for supporting us in our crazy endeavors. He even went out and made the old Brap sauce, this one right in the middle. I just had some on some pizza while me and Tiller were here trying to get everything set up. I love it. I still wish he would make it by the gallon. I would buy a gallon.
I would. I bet you.
Yeah. Let's fill this guy up right here with some Brap sauce, and I'll be good for like a week. So, while you're checking out Bro Taco Hot Sauce at brotacofoods.com, don't forget to use the code PTTG for an extra 20% off. That's Sean just showing us love, you know. Not only did he make a hot sauce for Power to the Ground, he also hooks all of you guys up with 20% off, and it's really good. Like, I'm not just saying that because he's a sponsor. Even if he wasn't, and I found this stuff, I would still become a lifelong friend. Like, this is his passion child is this hot sauce, and it is amazing.
It's great stuff. You know, right before we started tonight too, I got a notification. He had a pre-order up of some sweet new merchandise that he's got coming out. I picked up one of those shirts, and I got a shipping notification this evening that new shirt's on its way.
Oh yeah, he doesn't mess around with shipping. What was it? We were talking to him the other day, and he hurt his back or whatever, but he's like crawling around on the floor still trying to fill orders. Like, that is dedication. I don't know how he does it. like I've had back injuries, and I don't want to move. Like I don't even want to talk, when my back hurts. So for him to still be going out there and trying to get orders filled for us it's amazing. Like his dedication is through the roof. So it's we also got SUNSTAR Sprockets and Chains. You can visit them at sunstar-breaking.com. I'm rebuilding our website right now for SUNSTAR and Breaking, and I'm not an IT guy. You can ask Jesse. Unless it includes me hitting a computer with a hammer, I don't know how to fix it. But I am trying to figure out how to set up like a promo code on our website. But in the meantime, if you email me at support@sunstar-breaking.com and you put in like Tiller sent me, or I heard Doug blabbing about whatever on Power to the Ground, or Jesse sent me, or even David or Coda or Sean, or it's something to do with Power to the Ground in the email, I'll hook you up with 30%. So let's I don't know. Let's see if it works. I have no idea. It'll be fun though, I think. But that is it for our sponsor reads. Don't forget, if you do want to be a sponsor, reach out to us. As you can see, I got plenty of room on this wall behind me. I moved the SUNSTAR. Well, wrong side. I moved the SUNSTAR sticker. I did have to get a new backdrop. The other one was my projector screen, and my kids wanted to watch Disney movies, and they weren't super stoked on seeing a big SUNSTAR sticker in the middle of their Moana video. So I did have to actually put up my normal screen and do a little bit of work. So let's try to fill the wall. If you want to sponsor, reach out to myself, Tiller, or Jesse, and we will try to do our best to figure something out with you. Other than that, what do we have going on tonight, Tiller? I know we got fantasy stuff. We missed it last week. We have to pick it up this week.
Yeah,
I'm pretty stoked about that. The Pick'ems is awesome. It might be one of my favorites because it shows love to the 250 guys as well as the 450 guys. So,
and you can't argue with the fact that it brings in the 250 guys. I think that's definitely one of the reasons why I like it. And then I think it's one of the more fair. No, not fair. I don't know. I just enjoy the scoring system because it's simple, but it's just enough to where it rewards doing well, and then it rewards doing well, really well, just enough to give you that edge you deserve, for not just picking and choosing.
Yeah. It's not just kind of let's hope we get lucky. Like you guys that play pulp during Supercross, I don't know how you do it. Like I get so frustrated doing it during outdoors when there's twice as many guys on the track, and you guys are over there talking about like, oh, I did good in pulp. I'm like, how do you do good pulp on Supercross? Like, how do you do it? You know what I mean? That's luckily, for guys like me, a little bit more simple-minded, don't understand all the handicap stuff. Jesse has put together what I think is an amazing fantasy. I can, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something during the last race, I had actually just overheated my quad, got back to the trailer, and had an oh shit moment. I hadn't set my team yet. So while my brother's trying to cool off the quad, I'm sitting over there setting my team. I didn't have to look and try to figure out what handicap or who's doing this or who's doing that, or, so it's, I love it, especially we're busy, we're adults. So it's, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Come play it with us.
It rewards research, to an extent.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't have a high skill cap, where you don't have to worry about studying too much to do well. You just got to pay attention. There's some luck involved. Like this season, regardless of what league you're playing in, and there's nights where we'd finish qualifying and Zach Osborne looks like he's going to be in the top 5 pretty easy. He and Marv both, and then all of a sudden at the end of the night, you're like, where'd those two go?
Yeah.
And no matter what league you're in, somebody's suffering somewhere because we all thought Marv and Zach were going to do better than 10th, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
No,
That's surprised me. That actually I want to bring up the other talking point that we were talking about this week that we want to talk about, and that was just kind of going over the 250s. We didn't really get to show them a lot of love last week. We were going through doing some statistics on some of the 450 guys and figuring that stuff out. So I think the 250s need a little bit of love this week from us. What about you,
Oh
man?
yeah, No, we can definitely touch on them because that's part of what I wanted to talk about with the 250s is that same thing with the in fantasy, especially not well. We'll say positions 3, 4, 5 on the East Coast, the first one this year. Those swapped around once we settled down to it being the Colton Christian show.
Yeah,
Um, and those were going around a lot, constantly changing every week. You'd have Hampshire up there. Shimoda was starting to showing. You had Mosman, Oldenburg, Volan was doing really well, providing some people with some points, and then he didn't make it too much further after was it
Indy,
Indy 2 or 1?
Indy round one, I think.
I think
Yeah, it
it
was
was
round
round one.
one because my wife was there and she's like, "You want my kids to do this?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So
It's statistically, it's a slim chance that he's going to end up at this level of Supercross and have that happen to him. Pretty slim. But yeah,
yeah,
the so just in general for our fantasy, the to go over how it works, we got top five, 250s, 450s. You got to pick who you think is going to get first, second, third, fourth, fifth for each one. Scoring's easy. If you pick somebody out of those 5 people and they're in the top 5, you get 1 point regardless of what position they're in. If you picked Christian Craig getting second and he ends up getting second, he gets you 2 points instead of just 1 point. It's pretty straightforward points. So you get 10 picks, you get anywhere from 0 to 20 points over the course of the night. We haven't seen a perfect score for anybody um, all season yet. There's nights where we probably thought we were going to, and honestly, the highest scoring night we've had so far was Arlington 3, and it was the highest by far, um, as far as total points earned from everybody. Um, I think what was it? We had the average score on Arlington 3 was 11, and that was including somebody even getting a 2 that night. We had 15s, 13s, but with 10 guys, 10 picks, 2 top 5s, you'd think it'd be pretty easy to pick, right? Because you think years past there's like top 5 guys that everybody thinks it's pretty clear. Oh, these are the top 5 guys every night, over and over again. We haven't really had any night where the percentage correct has been ridiculously high over and over again. The average percent correct is 20-ish, 20% across all the picks that night. That's 1 out of 5. So I think that kind of plays to generally we were talking about last week with the top 5 in the 450. It goes back to the 250s this year. The top 5 has been not as steady as they have in years past in some series. So that's been pretty exciting and making it fun for a simple game like this. Where you think you can go in and pick, but it's a good bit of variance to make it up. There've been some huge point swings in the total. We had one guy miss a round 2 weeks ago and took him out of the lead, but he's still in the top because we got so many points last week. You're tied for first now. I know you're pretty pumped about that.
I am. I still want to see that trophy. This
I'm
fabled trophy that's supposed to be super badass. Like I definitely want to see it. So
I
that's
think about it at least once a day.
I I'm not gonna lie, I do too. I would jump in there to see if maybe there was like a math mistake, you know. But it's so far it hasn't worked, you know. It's kind of sitting there hoping. I'm like, oh, it's still the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been going back over and looking at some of them to make sure there's not any math because it gets to the point when you start to see scores like that over the course of it. We've got we were talking right before, our top 5 are all 107 for the top 3, fourth and fifth are 106 each. Um, that's pretty close. Pretty close
Yeah,
for a top 5 after where are we at? 12 rounds now total, right?
I
Yeah,
think
12
so.
rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
That's real tight, man.
It is. And that's why I love it. Like you play in some of these leagues and it just turns out to be a complete blowout.
Hmm.
It's like you just have one guy that's just got it down to a science and he's just wrecking everyone. Or he gets lucky 2 or 3 weeks in a row and he just sets a huge gap that you're trying to chase down. Where this one, it seems like everyone's almost on the same page. Like we're all making good picks. Like for the top five to all be within 1 point of each other, that is the kind of race that I want to see in Supercross in general.
Hmm. Oh yeah, keep it close,
So
keep it tight, keep it exciting.
yeah, so it's I mean, I can't say it enough. It What Jesse has done with these pick'ems on the Power to the Ground website is it's awesome. It makes watching the races a lot more fun too. Because now instead of just sitting there and cheering for one guy, you're cheering for 10 guys throughout the whole entire night. And I think that does makes a big difference in how you kind of watch. At
Oh, I
least
can
it
say.
does for me. So
Oh yeah, I'd say over the past three, I think 3 years now, I've been in some fantasy or another with Supercross. I'd never done fantasy anything before this, and I've been watching Supercross for years.
yeah.
I watched Supercross with friends, and now just kind of generally, without exception of couch cross, really watching Supercross by myself for the most part. This is the having fantasy to kind of follow along outdoors and Supercross. Definitely has raised the fun level all week long
Oh
for
yeah.
everything, and not just on race night. It really brings back the fun to it some nights. Because
Yeah.
even on nights where it looks like a blowout win by Tomac at Daytona, it still makes the rest of the race fun to watch because you're like, oh man, is my fifth place guy is he gonna make it in? Is he gonna get it? I need that 2 points.
Oh yeah. You're like, come on, pass one more guy. Like
Yep.
5 4 seconds. Hurry up. And it's I mean, yeah, with the pick'ems, and then us throwing in couch cross every once in a while, when we can get everybody together, or like even the Discord, like where we're all watching it live, just kind of like talking back and forth, talking a lot of smack and stuff like that. Like this season has been one for the record books in terms of how fun it feels. You know what I mean? Like it seriously feels like we're all just kind of hanging out every weekend, watching the races, watching qualifying. Like it has that feel, especially after the past year or whatever, where everybody's in like quasi lockdown or whatever. Anyway, like it feels pretty normal to sit there and like Zoom your friends or jump on like a chat thing and talk and stuff like that. So it's definitely it's fun. I like it. I hope that we can continue to build it. I mean, we have a lot of guys that play pretty much every week, the
Oh yeah.
exception of a couple like missed weeks here and there, but sometimes that happens. Everybody's got a life outside of anything moto.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah. You're just gonna have missed weeks, but like you said earlier with the scoring, that makes it to where with the way this scoring is, you miss a week, you're still kind of in there. You could come back and get a really lucky week and come back in there and be in contention.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and uh, there's definitely some action that could be going on there. And I know one thing I want to see is because I know at the beginning of the season, obviously in games like this, you're going to have some attrition rate,
Yeah.
over the course of the season. I think one thing I would really like to see is to find a way. I want to find a way to incentivize some people
Yeah.
to bring some friends for the outdoors to
Yeah.
play with
Yeah.
us.
We were kind of talking about it while we were both running around at work. Unfortunately, it's like one message, hour and a half later, another message, like an hour and a half later, like another message, because I mean, we both have pretty busy jobs, running around or whatever. So I'm sure that we can figure something out, I
Yeah,
mean, that's,
I'd love some feedback, maybe some ideas for some fun ideas. Because I think if anybody's got any ideas for how they think it could work to bring bring some friends in to
Yeah.
the series, I'd be willing to put a good chunk of my own change on the table to find some way of incentivizing somebody, whoever can get us the most either consistent referrals through the outdoor season or total number of referrals. We want to see some competition, make those rewards, uh, get some rewards out there for the winners. I wanna I wanna I
Yeah.
wanna earn my win in the outdoors.
Yeah, definitely. That's I mean, it, I'm sure the people that are listening to this, whether it be on any of your podcast channels, YouTube, Facebook, anything like that, throughout the week, I mean, if you're definitely listening, hit us up on what your idea, I guess, would be. Like what kind of prize would you like to see if you can bring the most people in? Let's try to keep it reasonable. I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of like ponies and stuff like that. So it's but yeah, it's gonna be fun. I don't see how it can't be fun. You know what I mean? And I see it growing. We've definitely have more people. I was actually surprised at how many people initially signed up for it. I was like, holy cow, this is gonna be stiff.
Oh yeah, those first few rounds, man, there was a lot of people,
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of people there. I thought I was really worried that it was going to be. I mean, not that it hasn't been hard, but yeah, I was worried that competition was gonna get pretty stiff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, especially the ideas about rewards. What's gonna get you going out there, and I just generally think overall our fantasy one for is worst case scenario is too easy to make 10 simple picks, you know, and jump in and play and kind of keep things interesting and have something to talk crap with your buddies about over the course of the week. You know, even if you can
Yeah.
get somebody new into it and just have them fun, because I mean it's also the best part about this. You can like still kind of do good if you only get 3 picks just by randomly picking names. Pick people with
Yeah.
the lowest numbers, and you got a good chance at still making some decent points during the week. And it's a fun way to talk some water cooler crap over the course of the week.
Oh yeah. And that's not gonna lie, I did kind of mess up at the beginning of the season. I didn't tell my brother or my mom, who are both like big into fantasy games. And when I was trying to update my picks while he was trying to cool down my quad, like while I was taking a break because I had completely demolished myself, he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm setting my fantasy picks." He's like, "For what?" And I'm like, "Supercross." He's like, "They have fantasy for Supercross?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like they for sure do." Why didn't I
Yeah.
hear about this? Like I would have played all year. And I'm like, because your brother sucks. I don't know. I'm sorry, man. Like I so we'll get him playing next year. I'm sure I can get my mom playing. I would get my wife, but she gets super lucky on stuff like this. And I don't want to hear her completely demolish me every week while I'm trying to like come home and like hang out and she's just sitting there talking shit. Like, so I might hide it from her.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of the best ones I've seen, especially in like Pulp or something, is where the guys have their wives or girlfriend playing too, and like all they know is what they see on the TV on Saturday nights, and they're purely making picks off that, and it makes for some pretty
Oh
entertaining
yeah.
content. I think I might have to start a hashtag get Doug wife playing.
Yeah. I mean, I I got her playing fantasy football one year and she literally picked her whole team just like who she thought was cute and she demolished the whole league. I'm like, how does this like I never knew there was a correlation between my wife thinking somebody was decent looking and them just being a complete baller. And it wasn't even like guys that were like household names. Like, and that's what I'm afraid of with this because as a lot of I pretty much eat, sleep, and breathe like moto anything. And for her just to come in and completely whoop on me, that would be pretty demoralizing. Although I'm sure like you and Jesse and some of the other guys in the Discord, they would probably get a kick out of it,
Oh yeah,
but
that's it. Yeah, it's worth it for the community laugh.
right?
It's worth it for the community to last for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find somebody to uh, try to play outdoors with me this year. I started um, MotoGP kicked off last weekend, so
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. I'm back in full bore into following that this year. It's been a while since I've fully followed that. I jumped back in. I'm in a league with some friends at the old shop. It's already back to the fun of I remember MotoGP having the fantasy. That fantasy is complicated. You
Is
think
it?
pulp's complicated? This fantasy is complicated. You got salaries, caps, trading people. It's almost too much, but it's already 10 times
I'm
more fun.
I'm out, man. I don't have enough bandwidth in the old noggin to be able to knock out that kind of
Oh, if
stuff.
it was just me
You know?
playing by myself, I wouldn't do it. But if it's because I got that league, like I'm not even gonna try that hard because I don't have the bandwidth. It's just fun to be able to smack talk with a bunch of guys about
Oh
who's
yeah,
doing what. Like I'm
yeah,
gonna go see some of them on Saturday, and I know the guy that won last weekend. It's a KTM BMW shop. The guy that won last week went total Yamaha bandwagon on his picks. And I'm gonna walk in that door and just being like, "Come on, man, you can't you can't just betray the teams like that, you know."
yeah. That's it, it's definitely fun. So I mean, I highly recommend everybody come play with us because you're crazy if you think I'm not going to talk shit all week. I mean, I have been like in our other leagues where I'm like, I missed a week and I'm still second place. Like, you guys all stink. You're horrible, you know? Like, and then finally I got past, and now I don't feel like I can talk shit because he's destroying me, like absolutely destroying me. So it's but it's fun. I would love to see you guys all come in and play with us. It's just to get more people, you know. The more people that we have, the more fun it is. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll pull the trigger and start. I'll get crazy and throw down the gauntlet for some prizes. I don't know, every third week or every third race or something to kind of go for that weekly win too,
yeah,
instead of just the overall championship one. So give some definitely love some ideas and feedback on that for some ideas to make it enticing to play with us because it's crazy. But back to what we were talking about, part of what was making it crazy is let's talk 250s.
yeah. Sorry,
Part
I'm
of the
looking
reason
up some
why
of the
fantasy was 250s crazy. 4 first-time winners this year in the 250 class.
That's right, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. This year has been. I don't know if it's like I can't say that it's going to be the deep talent or whatever those everyone talks about and stuff like that. Like I can't blame it just on that. I think these guys came out swinging, ready to absolute rock and roll. We've had some very key injuries that also allows it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but overall it's been great. Like on the East Coast, you fully expected um like Nichols just to run away. At least I did. And on the West Coast, I fully expected Cooper to run away. And it's just not happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think it makes for some great racing. And what I also didn't realize is Colt Nichols has been racing 250s almost as long as the Martin brothers. I never realized that until I went back and rewatched some of the old races during like this off week or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, he has been on a 250 forever.
Yeah, there was some talk. You might have seen some of the same stuff I was looking at today. There was actually some conversations on the internet about him today. About how old is he? I think
Yeah,
he's 27.
yeah,
He's just not. I mean, he looks like a pretty chiseled athlete, but I definitely wouldn't have expected him to be 27. He doesn't look worn down like a 27-year old. And for him to have the energy, but yeah, he's there he's there to go for it. And I think the injuries have helped. But even with those injuries, if we wouldn't have had some of those, maybe there would have been a little bit more of a runaway. Mostly, I'm thinking, not gonna lie, my brain's thinking Fortner on the East Coast League riders. That maybe that he would have had a runaway, and that would have been a little bit more boring. Um, but just having even those other guys, we'll call them the second tier factory guys. They're they're jumping around, moving around. There's some surprising performances there. There's some surprising performances in the privateers. Um, we've got so back to those first time winners. Got Jet
it's
and Hunter.
got Apparently,
Colt being the new Davalos. I don't
yeah,
know. He
or
was watching the
Nichols
front end
is.
out as much.
Yeah, he doesn't wreck nearly as much, but he's not on a 450 yet. Davalos didn't do bad until he got on the 450, and then he just can't keep it up. So
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
but yeah, that's for sure. I could probably see it, definitely.
See, we got yeah. So the Lawrence brothers,
Yeah.
2 more brothers. Both of them got their first wins this year. Who would have thought Hunter would get his first win in less races than Jet?
I mean, I didn't expect Hunter to win at all, so to expect him to win before Jet, it, no, not even a little bit. You know,
Yeah, I
like
would have maybe put money on Hunter finishing a series with more points than Jet because of injury or something on Jet's behalf. But yeah,
yeah,
for Hunter to get a win in what I would say is probably a tougher coast right now, slightly tougher coast. I
yeah.
think that's pretty awesome for him to come out and do it like that, and be Spider-Man all within the same league.
Yeah, that was an interesting wreck. I think what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? Baggett did the same thing on a very similar bull turn. He just right off the backside and Spider-Man down, like landed right next to his bike, took off and went.
Yeah,
So that's it's it's fun watching those kind of wrecks where nobody's hurt, the bike's probably not hurt, but watching them get caught by the net it's entertaining. I get a kick out of it,
oh
especially
yeah, it
because
was good.
they seem to catch themselves. Like everyone that hits the net seems to catch themselves, which is it's kind of weird. Like you don't really expect that, but I,
It could have been. There's so many more things could happen when he hit that net. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I don't remember where I heard it, but it sounded like I think there was video of it somewhere, or maybe Blair was talking about he saw it at one point during the middle of the race that he went over. Somebody went over and looked in the, or no, I think it was Anton. He actually really jacked up that net with how hard he hit it. Like the pole in the round really got jacked up, and they actually had to really go in there and reset that whole thing. It wasn't just like he just kind of landed in the net like he's at a fun zone and fell down. He actually hit that thing in the bike that messed it up pretty good.
yeah, you
Um,
could see it was loose when he was trying to like lower himself or whatever. You could see it moving quite a bit. So I could definitely imagine that he did a little bit. And the bike hit the pole too, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, he
Yes.
went in there and then fell into the net, I think.
Yeah. What else do we got, man?
So we got the 2 other first-time winners, Hammaker and McAdoo.
Those,
McAdoo I mean, Hammaker deserves credit for getting a win. He's doing pretty good, but McAdoo, only because I know his story a little bit more. It's awesome to see get his win. And both of these guys, I think there's probably plenty of people out there that are big Team Green and Pro Circuit fans that are excited to see Pro Circuit have some consistency this year and get some wins and not be relying on Fortner to not crash out.
I mean, I'm not a Kawasaki or a Team Green or Pro Circuit fan per se, but I like those kids, man. I'm glad to really see them doing good on what is it? I think it's their first year, isn't it? Second,
Hammaker is definitely.
first.
I think Hammaker is definitely his first year.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I think McAdoo it's his second. Because one of the reasons I liked him, Blair had done a really good interview with him about his amateur career and just everything up until this point. Um, yeah, because McAdoo was on the Honda teams for
yeah. He was
2
like a
years, I think, before
fill-in or
this.
something, wasn't he? I think he was a fill-in.
Yeah, I think his first year when he went into Moto Concepts,
Yeah,
the lower Honda team, he was a fill-in, and then he had last year, and then now he's on the Pro Circuit team. But hearing his story up until that point, I heard it before this season, and it was good to. But then they replayed it, and I re-listened to it again now after seeing him like ride through this, and it's just, man, that kid,
he's good.
yeah, he deserves it, man. That's a not that a lot of these people don't, but he deserves some credit for what he's gone through to get here. It's not been an easy journey, driving. He was somebody else's bus driver
Yeah,
basically for a while, and now he's winning a 250 regional race. That's exciting, and could win the title.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it outside of the possibility. I mean, if I was Mitch, I would definitely be excited because you got Shimoda, who's showing great talent and superb. I mean,
His
I don't
worst
even
finish this year is fifth.
yeah, like I don't even know how to explain Shimoda's style. He's just smooth. He's not smooth in any one particular setup on the track either. He's smooth the whole way around. And he's got the speed. I mean, we saw it when he tried to chase down Jet and ran into the tough block. So I definitely wouldn't put him out of contention here in a couple years. You got McAdoo. Hammaker doesn't seem that bad either. You know, he's good for a youngster too. So I think Mitch has he's got a good stable of young talent that he's going to do Mitch things. You know, he's just going to groom them and bring them up. And I think that we could potentially see them eclipse Forkner, especially if Forkner keeps wrecking, you know, and getting hurt. I would not be surprised to see him have to play second fiddle to one of these new kids coming up.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. I think that could be a really interesting thing to watch about Forkner next year if he does indeed, which is probably going to be the case, stay on 250s. And now that Shimoda's on that team, McAdoo, Hammaker, he's going to have real internal team competition.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not only everybody else in the field that's still going to be there next year, but he's going to have some crazy internal team competition that's really getting that Mitch Payton grooming that clearly fit Mitch's style. Because I think that might be one thing that's kind of hurt Mitch over the past couple of years is he's just like a lot of these managers are. They do things in a specific way. And I think, unfortunately, it seems like, from what I've heard, that maybe some of these riders that Mitch has had over the past couple of years just don't mesh well with Mitch's style. And that's just kind of hurt the pro circuit teams over the past couple of years. He just hasn't been able to get a lot of guys that can fit in the style, fit in the program, and really excel with the way he can leverage their talent. And maybe he's finally found some guys again that can just be like, we run this thing.
Yeah. He definitely feels like he has that like father/grandfather like vibe to him. Like you just don't want to disappoint him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely get that vibe, but I also get that he's probably not the easiest guy to work for because he is so successful. You know, he knows what it takes to win. He knows the work that you have to put in. He knows what you have to do day to day, hour to hour in order to win championships. And I don't think he's crazy if he takes it easy on some of these young kids coming up, you know. And I think it's the guys that stay with them for quite a while end up developing a nice style, but I don't think it's possible without Mitch. You know, like where would those kids be? You know, like AC is a pretty decent example, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I mean, he's struggling on the 450s, but from when Mitch picked him up as just like a little pimply kid right off of Team Green all the way through 250s and now into 450s, to watch him really mature into the style rider that Mitch pumps out, it is awesome to see. And I think he's definitely going to have his hands full with a couple of these kids, you know, but I think they're going to do great. And then, what was it? I think Savachi raced for him on 250s too, didn't he? And I don't think those guys meshed very well. I mean, I know they didn't mesh very well because it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth about Joey and how he works and stuff like that and his attitude. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because now we see Joey on the Rocky Mountain Butler Brothers KTM and he's doing good. I mean, he's not doing excellent, but he's not doing bad, you know. So I don't know. But you also get that with Alden too, out of the KTM Husky camp. So a lot of guys hate Alden, but he makes champions. You know, you hate him all you want, but there's his recipe for for success has proven itself.
Oh yeah,
So
there's a lot of different ways to, make the same thing. Some ways work for depending on the ingredients you got. Some people can't handle that type of program. Some people can. Some people can flourish in that type of environment, and some people just need an entirely different environment.
yeah,
It's not the same thing anymore.
that's like, well, I know, like, just speaking for myself, having a fine line between helpful motivation and then just pissing me off will definitely mess up my whole game. Like, everyone needs help being motivated and getting out there and doing stuff, or training, or just riding techniques and stuff like that. But if I have some dude barking in my ear the whole time, I shut off, man. And I'm sure, 100% sure, I am not the only person like that. So maybe it is. Maybe it's Mitch and DeCoster and them taking chances on young kids coming right out of the amateur ranks, and some of them are going to work and some of them don't. And unfortunately, you're not going to know until it comes time to really start cracking the whip and getting down to business to race a professional race, that now you're seeing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's I think that's part of, I don't know if it gets talked a lot about, and you might have an interesting insight on this, but I think there's a lot of different facets to the amateur conversation and the contracts for these amateur kids, and the argument about picking them up too early and stuff. But I think that's a part of it that might start to get looked at better, or maybe they're finally going to realize sooner than later that we can't grab these kids too early, because we may be able to pick the ones with skill, but maybe we're not picking the ones that can actually vibe with our program. And you have no way of knowing if a kid at 13 is going to be able to vibe with the Mitch Payton program or somebody else's program. There's no way you can know that. And you could totally just go the wrong way, or actually, because like you said, some people respond the worst to that type of stuff, and maybe you push a kid in the completely wrong direction by trying to get him in the wrong program too soon, and
you
it just messes everything up.
End up with a Kevin Windham, have all the talent in the world, but none of the motivation. Or like J-Law, where he just broke and ended up using drugs and drinking way too much and pretty much threw his whole career out. So I can definitely see it. And the other interesting aspect about these teams picking kids up so young is you have the parent that is there too. And we all know the jokes about the moto moms and moto dads and mini moms and mini dads and stuff like that. So we see it with the Stewarts, Malcolm and James, with Big James. Big James is very invested into his kids' futures, which is amazing to see. It's great, but it can also throw up kind of like a wall with some teams where we're trying to work with your kid who's a full-grown adult and not with you. You know what I mean? Like, there comes a time where he's got to go do his own thing. He's got to make his own decisions. And I don't think like a 15 or a 16-year-old is ready to make his own decisions. But unfortunately, in this sport, along with other sports, like hockey or football or anything like that, like, these kids are getting ready to either go to high school or start playing like away from home to be able to make it into the big leagues a lot better, and sometimes even a whole different country. So it's tough to say. And most of those kids seem to come out all right. Maybe it's just the headstrong thought process of most racers. At the end of the day, it's up to you to wake up and go to the gym, make sure that your stuff is squared away for the race, to get out there in the garage, even though you're tired after working out and running and working on cardio. And I don't see how anybody on the outside of the individual is going to be able to sway any individual that that's what needs to happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not Dr. Phil, you know. So it's hard to say, but I think it's like Shrek with the onion. Like every time you peel back one layer, there's another, you know.
We're like
And with
onions.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. And I don't think with amateur racing, them trying to pick up young kids is going away anytime soon. And in a lot of ways, you don't want it to, because a lot of those factories dump a bunch of money into amateur racing.
Yeah.
And if they don't, who will?
I
You know what I
definitely
mean?
wouldn't argue in the against in any manner that would, take them from dumping money into the racing, but the long-term contract thing
Yeah, that's
is
a little weird.
the issue that I think is the thing, because there's definitely ways, where if everybody didn't get so scared of not having the guy, then they would all get to that. But who knows? Maybe they're never all going to come together and get comfortable enough with not having the guy that they're all going to realize and be like, you know what? Maybe it's better to have them on shorter contracts, because then we can just swap them around until we all find the right fit. Because they're all
And I
so
think,
different. It's not like they're all running the same program.
yeah, wasn't it? It was Mitch on the Whiskey Throttle show brought that up too, where he's like, we have to do it because the other teams are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And all we're left with are the breadcrumbs at the end of the meal. Even though we don't want to, we still have to, you know. But on the flip side, I mean, look at Max. That kid came out like a champ in the first couple series. Like I was fully like expecting him just to come out like, all right, let's make a couple night shows, let's try to at least stay out of the LCQ. No, he's up there battling with the big guns, not showing any fear. I mean, if you had let that kid slip away because you wanted to only sign a short-term contract, I think you would be shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a batch of different kids.
Yeah.
I think we're dealing right now in the 250s. We're dealing with this generation of, let's grab all the amateur riders. Now we've got a group of kids, Volan, Ferry, all these other kids that are groomed. I think maybe Jalik Swole's kind of like in that top range of those kids now, but we're getting these kids that are groomed by professionals.
Oh, you haven't even really, unless you follow amateur racing, you haven't really seen anything yet, which is the crazy part. I mean, you still have like Brandon Kitchen, Jarrett Fry just came up.
Yeah.
You have who else? I mean, you got the whole Deegan clan. Like you said, you got Evan Ferry. The amount of talent that is floating around right now that is too young to race, or there's not a particular spot because nobody wants to take a chance on like a super mini kid, or I mean, another one, Ryder D Francisco, Cade Johnson. These kids have so much talent and they're just so young that you have to sit there and hope that the system doesn't chew them up and spit them out by the time it's actually time for them to show the world what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because, I mean, as everyone knows, if you do the same thing over and over every day, and it just creates a bunch of pressure and people are expecting you to show up and win. And all you want to do is just go do kid stuff. I'm a full grown adult and I still just want to go do kid stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, adulting sucks. I want to sit down and play video games, or I want to go run around or ride my bike,
Yeah.
So and unfortunately, you see a lot of these kids that are getting burnt out by the time they're ready to turn pro. And
yeah, you get the burnout, then you get the adulting problem, where you end up with somebody that might turn into a Josh Hansen. Once they get to that point, they finally make it to that point, and then they're all like, well, now I got all this money. I can actually be the kid that I never got to be. Yeah, I think that's also a fine line, too, and of like, how can we do this? Train them, make them care, but not wear them out to the point that when they do finally get there, they're just like, just everything about genetics, and they're worn out mentally, physically. They never got
Yeah.
to do it. They're just big kids and wanting to be kind of what some people have a problem with Fortner about. Like, man, I don't know. I have a hard time not being hard on a kid that makes that much money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I like my analogy of it's like having a big dog. Like I have a Mastiff, and you forget that even though they're like 200 pounds, they're still only like 6 months old, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they're still very young, even though they look like full grown adults and they act like it in front of the camera and their work ethic is usually on point. They're still kids, man. Like they still want to just hang out and oh, Jesse, you're
Dude,
supposed to be in class.
I can't argue against that.
I can't
I'm
either.
not gonna condone pro drinking on our podcast for uh, reasons, but I mean, even now, there's certain reasons, certain things in my life, and I don't know, maybe you and Jesse can kind of relate because you guys did the military thing where you guys were way more adult than some adults are when you were younger. So now you're getting to reap the benefits of that. I don't know. I know if I was a high school teacher right now, that's an argument I would use all day long. Like, I promise you, you guys can make a bigger return by investing in yourselves right now to where you can actually be playing while everyone else is like, oh man, I'm 35 and huh, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of, it's a hard, no, it's going to be hard and not everybody's going to buy it. But I
Yeah.
promise you, those couple guys that do, and like that, you can find a way of selling that. And then when it's a long term goal because you get it. You get a couple guys that are successful with that plan, can be there to prove it, and then a few years down the road, you'd be like, look, this guy did it. Like if you
Yeah.
do what he did, you can follow this plan, and you can have that can be what you chase, and it's a little bit more realistic
Yeah.
than anything. Like I still think the um the I think a biggest thing these guys need, especially to use the Josh Hansen argument, just even financial advice. Sure, if you guys want to do some dumb stuff like act like kids or whatever, but like let's make sure your money's taken care of so that example that DV gave about himself on the Pulp Show where he just spilled those finances out like that,
Oh yeah.
I would have never thought that he would have been in that kind of financial position right now, and that's because he played it smart. He wasn't Ricky, he wasn't McGrath, you
Yeah.
know, and he's he's fine. He's
Yeah.
fine, and a lot of these guys aren't killing it financial wise, but all they got to do is just a little bit smarter when they're young, and they're not having to go out and be a JT, being a fly rep, traveling all the time.
Yeah. JT loves his job, man.
Well, he does, but there's some guys that couldn't
Yeah.
do what he does.
Nah.
They could have raced better than he did, but they wouldn't have the job where he's got to go out
Nah.
and run and jump from rep job to rep job to rep job. He's
Yeah.
a unique one to find a job that he loves and can do really well.
I mean, Paul Parabinos is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, professional racer gets out, finally goes back to Loretta, slinging sprockets, stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if it's so much of a money issue. I mean, a lot of these kids come from parents that are fairly well off, also,
Well,
or
there's some of that. Yeah.
or they have like within the industry, they know people, like they might have been a mechanic or a pro racer themselves, or like Villapoto basically setting up the Stasic races at Supercross and abroad. I mean, they're still giving back to the sport in their own unique ways, but Villapoto just got burned out, man. Like, I completely understand it. And he's at that, like fuck everything stage, like I'm just gonna hang out with my kid, be a kid with my kid,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy my money, enjoy my time off. When I start running low on money, I'll figure it out then.
Yes.
And I guarantee you he still has the same work ethic as he did when he was racing. Like I
You
would
don't lose that.
no, I would put money on it that if he wants to do something and he sets his mind to it, he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and do it well, or at least figure out how to do it well pretty quick. You know, so it's I don't know. It's that's an I didn't see us getting into this tonight, so I was
Yeah,
completely unprepared. You know,
I didn't really think about it either. I was like, if there's one person I want to talk amateurs with, it'd be Doug.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that,
mean, we could definitely go down some rabbit holes about how that could all be really structured.
yeah,
But and talking about bringing it back up to the 250s, guys that stick it out and work it through, trying it out. We talked about Swole. He got in there. He's on that kind of top edge of the training program life. I'm still looking forward to watching that. I don't even think it's out yet. That documentary they teased about his life. I didn't know anything about the kid. I'll be honest. This is embarrassing. But I told somebody when they showed that clip of his documentary the other day, I've I don't think I've ever seen a picture of the kid or anything. I saw the name. It probably won't make any sense to anybody. I thought he was like Hawaiian or something. It
yeah,
whatever. I just want to say that. I mean, that's part of it. It's like this is a kid. Granted, this is his first year. We knew because we follow the sport.
yeah,
But I think this is kind of cool that they're taking that out there and being like, hey, this is a little bit of diversity we got here. To
yeah,
show them out there and take advantage of that because outside of Malcolm and James,
yeah,
we haven't had a whole lot of diversity in the sport, and to have that on there and them kind of take it. I don't want to say take advantage of it, but
yeah,
use it out there because he's also going to be like, hey, I want to use it just like Lewis Hamilton is in F1. He's like, I'm not afraid to, show who
yeah,
I am out here. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use this platform. I think they should because that could be a big thing for the market. But so we got Swole, Marchbanks. He's been him and McAdoo. We could say that they were kind of here and there, and
yeah.
one of them got the right door and the other one didn't.
I don't think Marchbanks' story is written yet, man. I
It's
think,
definitely not over.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Club MX guys, they're squared away. They're everything a second tier factory team should be without the factory support. You know what I mean? I mean, you're talking about guys that run the biggest training facility on the East Coast, if not the country, running this team. So it's between their connections and just what they know and their training facilities and who they have doing their fitness and their nutrition and dietary and stuff like that, they're squared away, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he landed on a pretty decent team. However, I could see him going back to a factory ride in the future. I really could. I think his talent is there. I think he's showcasing it on what a lot of people will consider a third-rate team, but in all actuality, it's it's a good team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's
They've got an impressive program there for sure.
yeah. So it's I don't think his story, at least in the 250s, is written yet. And then with that kind of stuff, I don't know. We're starting to run short on time, man. You want to
Okay.
talk about the going back to the pro circuit thing? Do you want to talk about what the news that you shared in the Discord? We can get into that a little bit.
Oh, which one was that? I don't even
I don't.
remember.
It was with contracts.
Oh, I'm blanking, man. I already
Uh
forgot.
it was Tomac with his 21 contract.
Oh, yeah.
How do you blank on that?
Oh man, I don't know. We talk about so much stuff, man. Not to like promote the Discord, but like this is how much stuff we talk about,
Right.
just over and over again. How do you remember? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the consensus is this is his year. It's done, and he's over with, and that it's so we're talking Tomac. If it is over this year, if this was year 2 of his contract, and he doesn't, maybe he's got an option in there, But I'm thinking if he doesn't go out and just rock this outdoors, I think it's clear to him to just say, I'm done. If he
Yeah.
goes out there and wins, there's too many options. If he goes out there and wins, he's like, okay, cool, I'm going to keep going. If he goes out there and wins, he could be like, okay, cool, I'm going to retire on top. To like, look, everybody, just kidding. I was really the most badass outdoor guy, and I'm done. See you guys later. I'll never see you again. Come find me. Let's go hunting.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, yeah, I think if that's the case, maybe somebody goes, Cowie 450, along with AC. I don't think it's Fortner. Fortner's not going to point out now.
I don't think he's ready anyway.
No, I don't. I
I
don't think
think
that's the case.
I think that would put a nail in the coffin. His career is done if he was forced to move up to 450s. I think if that was the case, he would be better off taking a Martin Brothers, and be injured the rest of this season, and definitely not point out, maybe take the year off and go race some money races. There's a lot of them around right now because the industry's so crazy, like the whole community is huge right now. Go race some money races, make a little scratch, come back in a year and start over. Because I think it's 3 consecutive years with so many points or something like that.
It's 4 now. I
4
think.
now.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
It's super weird. I can't
Because I was
keep up
looking
or
it up for
remember.
Christian Craig the other day. I was having a conversation about Craig, and if he was going to point out, he's not even close to pointing out, dude.
Yeah.
He's been racing
No.
250 Supercross so long, and not. I think he's completed. I think this will have been his second season where he's hit the point threshold.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Guys game it, man. And can you blame them? It's and that's, I think, why it's a great argument just to make the 250s a premiere along with the 450s, and then let's bring in some other stuff that doesn't have to be on the television. Let's bring in some other guys. Where Supercross Futures was super expensive, but it was also a great program. Make those guys the East-West guys. Let's get 250s and 4. Just make an open class. Bring a 250 through 450. You want to race a 350? Have fun.
Yeah.
So, but it's I don't going back on topic, because I got a little distracted there, because whenever it's time to shit talk the East-West stuff, I am always down and ready.
I started you there by bringing up Craig, but yeah.
But it's who could we see taking that seat though?
Is the number got a 7 in it?
I don't know. It's a possibility, but I don't know who else is open. You know what I mean? I know, I'm pretty sure his contract is up, but he's been with Yamaha since he was a kid. His dad was a factory Yamaha rider. I see him doing what's best for him at the end of the day, but that kid bleeds blue, man.
Well, not just blue, but the Star team.
Yeah.
There's a team. That's one of those examples where don't quit what works for a little bit more money,
Yeah. Yeah, and we haven't really seen that the Kawasaki's are any better than the Yamahas this year either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they haven't had the opportunity to even come close to proving that.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Would I like to see him? I just want to see Aaron do good. That's my biggest thing. I just want to see him do good. And there is a lot of talk that there's a couple teams beating down his door, and I can't help but think that he would be a young fit on that team. However, I don't know if I see it happening. And they're finally getting the Star team figured out, and it seems like Aaron's having a ball. So I don't know. Do we know who else? I mean, it's still really early for silly season stuff, so I don't even know who else would be open.
The
it's
whole
not
Husky team.
Yeah.
With that, if we're talking early silly season stuff and potential rumors, I think that's one of the biggest one is the whole Husky team could be.
But
It's obviously not going anywhere.
yeah,
Stefan, P over KTM's be like, no, okay, we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this going. If we got to do it without a sponsor, we'll do the gas program and we'll run one guy. But
yeah.
that's three guys on there. Who knows what's gonna happen if that really
Maybe
is the case?
Zacho. I wouldn't mind seeing Zacho in green.
Oh man, I I'm realizing this right now that I think I've had a mental block on Kawasaki just because I've never really rooted for any guy on that team. I don't, and so I don't think I've never been an anti Kawasaki guy so much as it's just been like I've never really had a guy on that team that I can root for because, like, I mean, yeah, Filippo was awesome, but I don't know, I never sat down and was like, yeah, I want to see Filippo win. That wasn't my thing. So I don't know. I think I'm having a hard time picturing Zacho, a guy I really like on Kawasaki. I don't know. That could be interesting. But I think to use a phrase you mentioned earlier, nail in the coffin. Those are two guys, AP and Zacho, where if they went to Kawasaki, signed a 2-year contract, they didn't do well,
They're
we'll never
done.
see them again.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, like we said, it's way too early, and I can't even remember what article that came out in, but we don't even know how true it is either. It was just a quick article that they threw out, but it did bring up some very interesting conversations,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Or maybe they just start with a young team, you
I
know.
think that would be if I were in is it Fahey? If I were in his shoes for Kawasaki, Eli leaves. I got AC. I'm picking another young guy.
You think
Yep.
you don't want to vet based
Nope.
on AC's performance and 450s?
No, I think, and this is partly my philosophy around the whole thing is I see the 450 class continuing to get more and more and more stacked.
Yeah, because
I
there's nowhere
don't.
else to go.
Yeah, there's not another Eli out there that's gonna win one, and I'm not gonna try to gamble to get that. I want to get a guy that I can make be beside AC. Yes, ideally I want AC to be more consistent and not wreck. I don't think AC's wrecking this year because he's like pulling the jet and just wicking the throttle too much every time. I think some of this is like some bad luck, but I think he's going to grow out of it. But
I think a lot of it's
I
up
would
here.
invest in a younger half guy that I could, be like I want to find the right guy that I can make a team green guy because that's what off the top of my head, they're on that program like Kenny's been recently, like Dungy was after he switched over. They get a guy, they stayed for a
Yeah,
long time. I think those are the three brands that off the top of my head that I remember. If someone was like, oh, who keeps stuff for a long time? Kawasaki keeps stuff, KTM keeps stuff, Honda keeps stuff, keeps
yeah,
riders. And I would do that. I'd be like, I want to find a guy that I can keep for a while and utilize this way in the stacked class instead of trying to find a guy that's going to win every race because I know it's not possible. I want to find a guy that everybody's going to love that I
yep,
can utilize that way. And just if he's a top 3 championship guy every year, cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna leverage him other ways and make money that way.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Let's run down some Camp Coker GNCC results real quick though,
Woo!
if you're cool with it. That was an interesting race.
I saw some screenshots from that one after you sent me that photo of that bike. It looked like that was a Yamaha, a T7 that they had out there. Still funny
Oh
to
yeah,
see American flag graphics on a non-American bike out there at the races. That was awesome, man.
that dude's crazy. I don't care how sane he actually is. That's crazy. So, in case You haven't seen it. There was an individual that took out like a legit adventure bike, like a Triumph Tiger or a T7 or like it was smaller than a V-Strom. It definitely wasn't a V-Strom, but I'm not 100% certain what it was. But he was out there racing that thing at the GNCC. Like, I don't know where he finished. I don't know what his name was, so I can't look it up. But that is insane.
What kind
That
of
is
class is that he would be in? Is it an open class? I didn't even know that they had a class that you could race a bike like that in at the GNCC.
so it could have been in the AM, like a trail rider,
Mm-hmm.
which there's not. It's a pretty open class because it's not a points class. It's just, hey, you're from the area, you want to go out there and get your butt kicked for a while, pay your $35, get you a transponder, go have fun with your friends, type of race class. So it could have been that. Anything above that, the rules start getting more and more strict and implemented. So if I had to guess, I would say he was in like the trail class, which is a morning race, not the big like hill climbs and stuff like that. So that's where I would guess. But running down your top five for PM bikes, which is your XC1 bikes, just the overall. Let's see. So the overall is actually kind of interesting because we had two XC2 guys in the top five in the overall, and this was a fast track. It was awesome to watch.
In the
Which,
overall top five.
yep. So
Wow.
this is all the guys that raced in the afternoon, which is like your pros, your pro-ams, your A's, your B's, stuff like that. So yeah, it's usually you don't see this. Yeah, it's like the first 5 or 6. So if you're an XC1, whether it's bikes or ATVs, you only get points if you finish in the top 20 overall. There's
Ooh.
no class points. So that's why the overall is so important on this stuff. Now, I'm pretty sure the XC2 guys get class points as well as maybe like a buffer for the overall or something like that. But when the top 10 or even like the top if the top 5 gets a little messed up in overall, it could have a large impact on the season. Because now you have guys that instead of finishing where they would have finished third, they're finishing sixth. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it gets really interesting. So we have a old Stu Baylor from Hodges, South Carolina, who came in first place. And once again, this is your PM bikes, your pro bikes. You have Josh Strang from Australia, who finished in your second. Jonathan Garor out of Boonville, North Carolina, who finished in third. Your fourth place goes to Lyndon Snodgrass out of Australia. Fifth is Jordan Ashburn from Livingston, Tennessee. And the two XC2 guys were the third and fourth place guys. So your Jonathan Garor, I'm probably butchering that, and your Lyden or Lyndon Snodgrass finished top 3 or top 4 in overall, like beating out like Benjamin Kelly, Grant Baylor, Joshua Toth, like stuff like that. And if you do follow us on Facebook, I posted a sweet picture of Toth doing a wheelie. They had to go across this bridge. I mean, this bridge probably isn't any wider than this thing. Like the ATVs couldn't go over it. The ATVs were too wide. And he's just doing a wheelie across, and it's got a bunch of kids in the background. You should hit up our Facebook page.
I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then the kids are all like, yeah, I have yet to run into a kid that doesn't like wheelies, and when you're doing a wheelie across a bridge, like that's even cooler.
I'm pretty sure that's the face I make when I watch somebody do a wheelie across a bridge.
All right. And then so in your PM Pro ATV overalls, now the ATV guys races on Saturday. The one thing that stood out to me was in your top 10, you had one kid. So all the way through the top 14 are all XC1s. except for this kid number 9, Jay uh, Shadron from Mount Pleasant, PA. He's a junior A, 22 plus, and he is literally right in the middle of all the pros. So this kid was sucking gas and hauling ass all day Saturday to finish 9th overall with the pros, and he's not there yet. He still has to get through. So there's junior A, and then he has to go to the XC2 and then the XC1, and he's finishing with these guys this week. Like, that is awesome to me.
He had a mud-eaten grin on his face when he got done.
Oh, yeah, I do, just reading it off. Like, that is an amazing accomplishment for a young kid. So getting to the results real quick. In your first place, we had Walker Fowler out of Rogers, Ohio. Second place, Cole Richardson out of Edinburgh, PA. Adam McGill out of Waverly, West Virginia, brings it home third. Jared McClure from Casca, PA, bringing it home fourth. And your number 5 spot to so far what is becoming, this kid is absolutely amazing to watch. It's his first year in XC1, and I don't think he's finished out of the top 5 yet. Is Hunter Hart out of Newfield, New York. The kid's absolutely on fire. So it's awesome to watch.
It's exciting.
Oh yeah. And then if you are on our Discord, if you're not, stop over at the Facebook page, get you the Discord link. What I usually do if I'm home, I will throw up the live stream of the GNCC in our races thing on our Discord, and I'll just be sitting here watching it, and we can just sit here and talk about the race, or we can talk about anything while we're watching the race. I don't care. I'm just hanging out with dudes. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at, man. Other than that, I don't have much else to to say. I mean, I think we went over it all. It's a weird 2-week lull. I don't know what to do with my life. So
I know I'd be lost if it weren't for this.
Yeah. I'm like, Tiller.
I think with 3 weeks
Jesse
between races.
Yeah.
Right. With 3 weeks between the races, I think I literally would have been just kind of like, well, there's not things happening in the 3 weeks for us to even kind of follow. A 2-week break, maybe, but that extra week just makes things kind of, I think the only thing that could happen in 3 weeks is, heaven forbid, somebody gets hurt and then there's news, but in this 3-week break, there's nothing. All we can hope for is that these guys are out there, going all in. The guys that are in the championship contention are out there training for Supercross. They're like, screw outdoors, going all in Supercross, and then I'll jump onto it later. Which I think, was it Webb? I think Webb kind of admitted that that's the thing, like, if we're in championship contention during this break, outdoors is second fiddle right now. We're not going to put a lot of time in. We're going to make sure. It might not have been Webb, but I think I've heard definitely a couple of guys admit that, like, if we're in championship contention right now,
I think that's the
training
general
is not
consensus.
where we want to go.
Like, I think the top 5 and both coasts and the 450s, I feel like that is the general consensus. Like,
yeah,
why are you going to go start messing with all your setups and stuff like that when you have the chance to be within striking distance of a championship?
Yeah, and I think, now that I'm saying it too, I think more of the context was, I think there was somebody that explicitly stated, we're not in we're not in championship contention. We're full on outdoors training, which is also kind of exciting in that context, because there's some guys that normally wouldn't maybe be there. They're going to be really battling. So as excited as I am for this season coming to a close, the Atlanta residency is going to be really exciting to watch. I can't think of anything in the past couple of years that's been more exciting than 3 races in a week.
I
could have the crappiest work week, but knowing that I've got 3 races in a week is just one of the most exciting things.
Right.
Ever.
It makes Monday feel like Friday, dude. I love it. So it's I don't know. What else do we have, man? I think we pretty much wrapped it up. I mean,
I think that's about it. I think I would say, come hit us up on the Discord. Somebody come talk GNCC with Doug. We're trying to learn it, but we're not appeasing him enough. We don't all know enough. I just learned more about it right now, and I'm actually kind of more excited about watching it more.
Oh yeah.
Somebody come talk MotoGP with me. I'm excited for this season to get started. I wanted to talk on it. I don't know, maybe if anybody's interested, I'll stream the races whenever I watch it on Sunday, because I'm not gonna lie,
I'm
I get up
down.
early, but I don't know if I'm gonna sit and stream it at 6 o'clock by myself on a Sunday morning either. So
Let
anybody
me know
wants to
when
set
you
up a
do
watch
it, dude.
party, I'll do it.
Yeah, let me know when you're planning on doing it. I'll jump in. That's about when I wake up anyway, man. So might as
Yeah,
well, rather than tiptoe around the house, try not to wake up the wife and kids. I'll come down in the basement and watch some GP with you, dude.
hell yeah, MotoGP and coffee, man. But yeah, and then
Yeah,
this weekend I'm excited. I'm going on my first moto trip that I've been in a while, thanks COVID. Got that GoPro set up. I'm gonna record some stuff and make some sweet videos, and I'm excited to get out there and go ride this weekend on the week off and take 3 days out on the bike and just see some pretty country. The weather's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. That's I'm definitely looking forward to it. Probably just as much as you are because I'm a little jelly. So that's I mean that's great, man. I truly wish that I had the time to get away, but the industry's crazy. We can talk about it all later. I mean,
Yeah.
you've probably heard me just like a broken fiddle, man. But it's running through our goodbyes real quick, man. Don't forget, if you are on Facebook and YouTube, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We did have a new commenter, which actually happened to be my old boss, Justin Terrell. He's a great guy, big into Ohio Moto, man. So thank you for commenting, taking the time out to watch me ramble on about random stuff with my buddy Taylor here. We greatly appreciate it. Like I said, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's what keeps us going. The more people that we have, the bigger we can grow this community, the better conversations that we can have. We're not afraid to stop what we're talking about and listen to your inputs when you guys comment. We're that's what we've based this whole thing around. Is we just want it to be a big community, and we don't want to just be the guys up on the soapboxes saying so please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to stop over at power2theground.com. We have sweet Do It For Dale t-shirts. We also have the pick'ems, and the first about 30 minutes of the show, you guys are probably like, what are these dudes talking about? This is definitely what it is. Stop over, play with us. It's turning into a great time. We have Bro Taco Hot Sauce, www.brotacofoods.com. Don't forget to use the code PTTG to get 20% off your order. Get you some brap sauce. In the notes, do me a favor. In the notes, when you order your brap sauce, start making gallon jugs of this stuff.
Yes.
Please. We
Yes.
need to pressure Sean into this. I'm 110% committed to this. I don't care how many orders that I have to put in. I'm going to put it in every note. Make gallon jugs of brap sauce. And
Yeah, I don't
then,
even need a discount. I just for it to be a gallon over the little bottles. Like, he can charge me that same amount of money. I just want the gallon jug of it instead of a bunch of little bottles. I'll keep one that I can carry in my pocket, and then I'll keep the gallon jug on the counter. I will say, Bro Taco, man, outside of the PTG social media, if there was another one you were also going to follow while you logged on to Instagram or Facebook and followed the PTG social media, dude, his Instagram all the time is just. I
his
love.
Facebook is too. I don't know where he finds these pictures.
I don't know. I pretend like it's him because I just want to imagine Sean is just this like adventurous world traveling guy gathering all these. I know some of them are him, but then some of them I just imagine it's him out there. It just makes it that much more entertaining.
That dude is vibing every day, all day. It seems like, it's great to see. Also, don't forget to stop over at sunstar-breaking.com. Once again, I am working on a promo code, but I am IT illiterate. So please shoot me over an email at support@sunstar-breaking.com. Put something power to the ground oriented so that I know where you came from, and I'll hook you up with 30%. So let's get that going. And also, congratulations to our pick'em leaders. I'm not going to say congratulations to you, Austin, because you are messing with my feng shui here after I was talking crap for there was a lot of weeks where I was like, Austin, you better step up your game, and then you just show up, dude. But congratulations to Cole Platt. So far, he is leading us all with 107 points. Myself and Tiller are also thrown into the mix for a 3-way tie. Congrats to the guys that are 1 point behind us to make the whole top 5 within 1 point. To me, that is amazing, and I don't think we could have scripted it to work any better.
Full disclaimer, we did not script it to be like that. This is pure coincidence. Like I was very far behind at some point, and I've just a little bit every week. I'm close for some stuff in pulp right now, but the anxiety I have about picks during Atlanta week are up there.
Oh yeah. That's this is definitely the most fun. To me, it's the most pressure because I am up there. I'm tied for first place. You know, historically I've never done good at fantasy, so this whole year is I'm just having a phenomenal year. But there's also a lot of pressure because I'm like, I don't want to mess up. Like, I'm doing so good. Like, oh, how do I feel about this guy? I don't know. You know, like, what do you have for breakfast? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm listening to everything, reading everything on Saturdays. And that's the thing too. If anybody, I know we'll probably be back next week. I'll be more than happy to lay down some semi potential picks for Saturday going into Atlanta that I think are good. That I'll stamp it and I'll call Tiller safe picks going into that one. But I definitely don't mind if anybody's kind of curious and wants to see it. I'll start throwing some stuff out there on the Facebook on race day during the day, kind of letting you know what I've heard and read and who may or may not be the safe pick if you're interested in using that for your pick'em strategy.
Yeah, that's I mean, if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be you, because I literally just say, hey, I don't know, this dude's had a pretty good year. I'm kind of feeling him, or it's just anything like that. So, there you go, man. There you go.
Just said it.
Yeah. And then, another new commenter, old Amy, getting after you. So
call me out,
right? So I would 110% do that. I will sit here and run like the producer and put all the stuff that we figure out up on the screen so that you can run through all this. Let's make this happen.
We'll figure it out. I don't know if we can do it on Tuesday round, but we'll figure something out. Worst case scenario, I'll put something up on the Facebook, very minimal. We'll get some suggested day of picks out there that day.
And I think Jesse's gonna do the race preview shows on Fridays, I think, right now, because he is jammed up on Thursday nights. That's why you get to look at our lovely faces. So it's he might be doing that, but I'm sure we can figure out something between yourself and me that we can talk about on Thursday nights to keep this going.
Oh, dude, always. I think if anything, you and I have proven that we can find something to talk about.
Oh yeah,
for an hour on Thursday nights.
Oh yeah, definitely. But with that, I gotta say bye. I gotta put my kids to bed. If not, they might wake up and try to get me in the middle of the night. So
look at you getting comments.
I know. Look at me. My face is beautiful. Hopefully, that's my wife. So hopefully she didn't hear all the fantasy smack talk earlier. Because if not, there will probably be hell to pay as soon as I walk up those steps. But either way, it has been an excellent night with you guys. Hopefully I did a little bit better at the beginning. We are figuring this out, and I know that last week I did go slow. I do apologize about that. My brain just does not work that fast. So make sure that you guys say good luck to Jesse on whatever he's going to school for, so that Marine can figure out how to color in the lines. And with that, I'm going to say good night, guys. Have a great night. We'll catch you later, Tiller.
Peace, guys.